prominent Senate Republican who traveled with Senator Obama on his trip to Iraq and Afghanistan and who later skipped the GOP convention has now answered the question so few have been willing to bluntly address. And our third story in the countdown is Governor Sarah Palin ready to be president? Quoting, "I think it's a stretch to in any way to say that she's got the experience to be president of the United States." That from Republican Senator Chuck Hagel of Nebraska. In an interview with the Omaha World Herald, Senator Hagel's assessment of Palin was unsparing. "She doesn't have any foreign policy credentials," he said. "You get a passport for the first time in your life last year. I mean, I don't know what you can say. You can't say anything." But he said more. "I think they ought to be just honest about it and stop the nonsense about I look out my window and I see Russia, and so therefore I know something about Russia. That kind of thing is insulting to the American people." And he evidently had not even seen Governor Palin's performance at last night's town hall in Grand Rapids, Michigan. A question from the audience. "Governor Palin, there has been quite a bit of discussion about your perceived lack of foreign policy experience, and I want to give you your chance. If you could please respond to that criticism and give us specific skills that you think you have to bring to the White House to rebut that or mitigate that concern." The governor's answer.
I think because I'm a Washington outsider that the opponents are going to be looking for a whole lot of things that they can criticize, and they can kind of try to beat the candidate here who chose me as his partner to kind of tear down the ticket. But as for foreign policy, you know, I think that I am prepared, and I know that on January 20th, if we are so blessed as to be sworn into office as your president and vice president, certainly we'll be ready. I'll be ready. I have that confidence. I have that readiness. And if you want specifics with specific policy or countries, go ahead and you can ask me. You can even play Stump the Candidate if you want to. But we are ready to serve.
Well, he did ask. Senator McCain then cited the Alaskan energy supply and Palin's command of the Alaskan National Guard. And since the question had been posed near the end of the town hall, McCain was able to bring it to a merciful close. And nobody gave the questioner one specific. Joining me now, Associate Professor of Politics and African American Studies at Princeton University, Melissa Harris-Lacewell. Thank you for your time tonight.
Oh, it's great to be here.
What is the impact of words like the ones we heard from Senator Chuck Hagel, especially on Republicans or independents, do you think?
Well, it could be to revive the faith in the Republican Party that there's at least a few of them who are still in touch with reality and willing to tell the truth about the candidates that they fielded. But I suspect more than anything, we've spent a lot of time talking about the divisions in the Democratic Party that emerged as a result of the very long primary battle between Senators Clinton and Obama. But I don't think we've talked enough about the ways that the choice of Sarah Palin may in fact have energized one part of the Republican Party, but it might have also really irritated other parts of the party.
In one poll, and this goes to that point to some degree, I think, from just Saturday to Tuesday, Governor Palin lost 10 points in approved, disapproved numbers. Is there any sense, any handle on to what degree that might owe to the points that Chuck Hagel made, especially the bit about the Russia mind bender, that just sort of sank in simultaneously with a lot of people who said, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense?
I mean, ultimately, I don't think it's Sarah Palin's lack of experience. It's her actual experience that has got voters, particularly independent voters, concerned. So when she first came on and she really read that teleprompter and gave a great speech, you know, there were a lot of Americans who were impressed by her capacity to show up and sort of be ready. But then over the course of the past couple of weeks, the information has come out that she does, in fact, have experience as an executive. And the decisions that she made as an executive demonstrate secrecy, divisiveness, a willingness to put her friends and colleagues in positions of power that they're not ready for. And that looks an awful lot like the Bush-Cheney White House and the kinds of decisions that were made there. So I don't think it's about her lack of experience. I think it's about her experience, the things that she, in fact, has done.
But Senator Hagel had seemed to imply that the Republicans might have gotten, this team might have gotten some pass on the practical inexperience she would have internationally if they had just admitted it and worked around it in some way. Is he right about that? Is there some way around this, or is it a problem for them either the way they chose or this other more honest way?
Well, I think the goal that John McCain had is the presidential candidate with sort of the experience and background as himself a veteran, was not to choose somebody else who had foreign policy experience. She's not there to provide experience. She's there to provide excitement. She's there to provide enthusiasm. She's there to turn the media cycle away from what happened in Denver, that sort of astonishing moment of American history in Mile High Stadium, and move it instead towards a conversation about the GOP and what the GOP was up to. That was what her job was. That's what she has effectively done. So in a certain way, she was going to get a pass. She's running with John McCain. She's not running as the foreign policy arm of that ticket.
But what happens if, as Mr. Hagel suggests, it's an insult to Americans' intelligence? Because this new New York Times CBS poll that came out last night, one of those interior numbers suggested that 75% of voters crossing both parties thought that Senator McCain chose Governor Palin to help him win for political purposes, not because of any qualifications she had in any respect, international or otherwise. How does a ticket deal with that when the truth sort of seeps through the spin?
Well, that's right. So the central key here is that the first big executive decision that we've had an opportunity to watch John McCain make, as a potential president, was his choice of a VP running mate. And his choice was Sarah Palin. So what that means is, as we get a chance to look at the choice of Sarah Palin, it tells us who is John McCain really going to be as a president. Now, their tagline is country first. But if Americans believe that he was putting John McCain and the opportunity to win in November above country, above the possibility in an uncertain world that Sarah Palin could in fact assume the position of the U.S. presidency one heartbeat away from it, if he made that choice just for political purposes, it's awfully difficult for him to make a claim of country first.
And also it just dawns on me, it's apropos of nothing, but that they never specified which country first. Melissa Harris-Lacewell of Princeton University, many thanks for some of your time tonight.
Thanks.